Good morning and welcome to MNL Click Academy. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for joining the workshops that we have created for you. And we really hope that you enjoy the learnings that you're going to get from these workshops. So, welcome to Intro to MS Office. My name is Teacher Jesse, and for 3 lessons, I'm going to work with you and help you understand the basics of Microsoft Office. Okay, let's go. So, Intro to MS Office. For lesson number 1, which is for today, we're going to talk about MS Office tools, Excel, and the basics. For part 1, hinati natin sa tatlong part itong lesson natin today. You're going to expect to learn what are MS Office tools. Part 2 is focused on navigating Excel. And then part 3 is focused on data and Excel functions. All right, let's go. Start tayo sa overview and outline. For the workshop overview, the students, you guys, will be familiar with MS Office tools and gain a working knowledge of Excel and PowerPoint. Just like what I said earlier, itong dalawang app na to ang ifo-focus natin sa ating discussion. And when I say a working knowledge, that means you're not going to be masters after the whole session unless you continue using what you have learned today. So what are you going to learn today? Upon successful completion of this first lesson, you will be able to identify MS Office tools, create and develop Excel worksheets to work with your data, and perform basic functions and calculations. Who should attend? Lesson 1 is intended for students who have the basic knowledge of MS Office. So when we say basic, it means we're not going to talk about opening and closing the window. We're not going to talk about how to create a new file. We're not going to talk about how you're going to copy and paste data. Yung mga super basic, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to assume that you guys have had your experience with Microsoft tools. Kahit papano ay nakahawak at nakapag-handle na kayo. At gusto nyo lamang basically makapag-review and gain additional knowledge in using Excel. So if you are those guys, you're in the right lesson. Okay, go tayo sa part 1. So part 1, MS Office tools. As you probably know, MS Office or MS Office, Microsoft Office or Office is basically just a group of software or applications that was created and launched by Microsoft around 1988. Ako personally, hindi ko nakilala kaagad ang Microsoft tools. I only learned about them around high school. Nung elementary, gumagamit pa rin kami ng typewriter and papel at ballpen or papel at lapis para gumawa at mag-submit ng mga projects. During high school, diyan dahan-dahan na may mga kaklase na akong nagsasubmit ng mga project nila ng mga colored sa paper, ganyan, nakaprint, parang mga nakasulat pa, project of, ganyan, Jesse Hidalgo, submitted to teacher, ganyan-ganyan. Medyo sumusosyal na. And that's when I slowly learned about Microsoft Office tools. So, unang-unang nakilala ko na malamang kayo din, Microsoft Word. Used to create letters and word reports. Dito rin gumagawa ng resume, dito rin gumagawa ng mga worded reports, dito yung ginagawa niyo mga projects na sinasubmit ninyo. Minsan meron pang mga requirement yan kung naaalala niyo ng college days, yung merong specific number of words, kailangan yung laki ng font ninyo ay yung sapat lamang, yung indentation, yung spaces in between, yan. Diyan ginagamit yan. So Microsoft Word. Unfortunately, we're not going to talk about Microsoft Word today. Again, we're going to focus on 2 apps, which is Excel and PowerPoint. Microsoft Excel, syempre, a spreadsheet program used for data analytics or data analysis. Usually, ginagamit kapag nagtrabaho ka na. I personally learned and was able to use Excel siguro 2005 na when I started working. I have been using Microsoft Excel for about 15 years now. Sabi nga nila, meron lamang dalawang tao in terms of Microsoft Excel, those who really love it and those who hate it. Basically, yung mga taong hate ang Microsoft Excel kasi yun yung feeling nila nahihirapan silang gamitin yung tool, hindi nila alam kung paano sila mag-navigate, they don't understand how the formulas, how the functions work, how the tables work. And yun namang mga gustong-gusto yung Excel, syempre yung kahit papaano ay marunong at naaaliw. Basically, doon din ako nag-umpisa dati. Nung nakita ko na, ay, ang galing, pwede kang mag-calculate, pwede kang mag-add, pwede kang mag-sum, may mga parang tricks na pwede kang nagagawa. Doon, medyo na-hook na ako and I started using Excel more and more. Kaya medyo natuto ng bahagya, which is basically the things that I'm going to share with you today. Next is Microsoft PowerPoint, used to present data in the form of slides. If you can remember, in the Luma days, meron yung tinatawag na parang acetate, yung plastic na parang bond paper na pinaprinta ng black and white tapos nilalagay sa ilaw. I can't recall what it's called. You can put it in the comment section. Pag itatama yung ilaw na yan sa isang malaking white screen or a white wall, tapos usually ginagamit sa simbahan. So medyo nag-evolve na ng konti yung technology dan dyan na ngayon lumabas ang Microsoft PowerPoint. Next is Microsoft Outlook. So ang Outlook, basically yan ay nagagamit lamang kapag nag-umpisa ka ng magtrabaho. Doon mo lang makikilala ang Outlook. It's used to basically filter, minamanage niya ang mga emails mo para makapag-receive and send ka. Parang ganun yung kanyang idea. Um, Meron ding mga hindi masyadong sikat na Microsoft Office tools. Yung Microsoft OneNote. So if you have a Microsoft package in one of your desktops or laptops at home, i-type mo yan, OneNote. Makikita mo hindi siya masyadong sikat. Pero it's basically just a digital notebook. So para siyang sticky notes, para siyang notepad, pero ang difference ay pwede kang maglagay ng video, pwede kang maglagay ng voice clip. So parang journal mo siya kumbaga. Pwede mo diyan maglagay ng mga ideas mo, ng mga gusto mong gawin ng mga projects mo. So notebook. Um, We also have Microsoft Publisher. Microsoft Publisher is a tool to create publications, newsletters, may parang mga posters, kunyari kung gagawa ka ng, and this can be done using Word or PowerPoint. Ang pinakakaiba sa Microsoft Publisher is that you can create posters bigger than your usual paper. So, ang style o ang pinaka-use talaga ng publisher ay hinahati niya yung pagpiprint. So kung may piprint ka kunyari na kasing laki ng poster, hahatiin niya yon sa apat na bahagi ng papel automatically. You don't have to parang use Excel kasi kapag Excel or Word or PowerPoint ang ginamit mo, there's a high chance na hindi magkakapantay na parang kunyari kung mukha yon, yung mata nasa taas tapos yung kabilang print mo mas maliit or hindi pantay yung ilong niya. Parang ganyan. But if you use publisher, siya na mismo yung magma-manage nun. Papakita niya sa iyo kung ilang paper ang kailangan mo. All you have to do is print it. So that's Microsoft Publisher. Microsoft Teams, a tool that combines video, chat, and voice messaging. So para siyang messenger. You can also do, oh yeah, para talagang messenger kasi pwede ka mag-video call, mag-iwan ng voice message, and mag-chat. Pero usually ito ay ginagamit ng mga corporation. Soon, I think we're going to have Microsoft Teams sa office at yan yung papalit sa parang ating Jabber para we can all communicate in one tool. So these are the MS Office tools that we usually know. And if you have like a package that you own, ibig sabihin may certificate, dinownload yan sa laptop mo or desktop mo, you'd see these applications. And my challenge to you guys is to practice using them para mas nakikilala nyo pa. If you have them, you can enter it in the comment section. Let me know ano yung pinaka-favorite mong application. or Microsoft tool, and why is it your favorite? Okay, that is the first part of our lesson. You can pause here if you want to take a rest or maybe continue next time when you have time and if you are available, or you can just continue watching. Okay, so if you chose to continue watching, eto na tayo sa part 2, which is navigating Excel. Lilipat na tayo sa Excel to talk about the parts of Excel. That's the second part. Okay. All right. If you can see my screen right now, you're now looking at Excel. Kapag naka-basic at wala ka pang pinapalitan sa settings, usually ang Excel ay color blue. Pero ito ay naka-dark version or minsan color white. Depende yan sa settings na gusto nyong gawin. So we're just going to talk about kung ano yung mga nakikita ninyo pag nagbukas kayo ng Excel. So, first things first, the quick access toolbar. It's a customizable toolbar where you can add buttons that you can like easily access so you don't have to move through tabs. So ito yun. Nasa pinakataas, yan. Yung mga naka-check, basically yun yung mga naka-add dito. So kunyari gusto kong i-add ang new and then I will have like an additional button there. So the quick access toolbar is basically just adding buttons on the topmost portion of your screen para you don't have to toggle through the tabs in Excel. Usually, hindi naman yan masyadong napapansin. Let's go to the next step. Okay. Ribbon. Ribbon is a group of tabs organized in logical groups. Each group relates to a specific task. The contents of each tab is only shown when the tab is active. Ito po yan, yung usually medyo sikat na karaniwan nating nakikita. Minsan, you can't see the buttons or the tools inside the ribbon because probably it's hidden. So parang may button dito sa may right side that you can actually click. Yan, pero mo naka-hide siya. But when you click on a specific tab in a ribbon, you can pin it again. Yan, pin the ribbon para bumalik lang siya. So if you have it like this, you will notice that the contents of each tab is only shown when the tab is active. So kapag naka-home, these are the information that you can see. When you go to insert, you will notice that it's going to change. So lahat ng mga bagay-bagay na tungkol sa pag-i-insert, kung meron kang gustong ipasok na picture or hyperlink or text box or summary pivot or chart, dito yan, insert. Page layout is all about kung ano yung itsura ng page mo. Nagiging importante lang ito kapag you're going to print a document in Excel. Normally, sa corporate or trabaho setting, since we're trying to minimize naman yung paggamit ng papel, hindi mo naman masyadong titingnan to kasi you're not really going to print a specific report. You're just going to look at it. Formulas. Under formulas, we're going to talk about the functions. Ayan, ito yon. Ayan, merong mga iba't ibang functions. When you go sa data, ayan, all about details or data that's entered in a specific cell o dito sa parang mga square na itong nakikita ninyo. Review, spelling check, thesaurus, mga ganyang bagay. Pero usually kapag ka nagagamit mo na yung Excel, ang review ay importante because of the protection. Dito ka pwedeng makapag-protect ng yung sheet. Ibig sabihin kapag nilock mo siya, walang makakapaggalaw, makakapag-enter. Kunyari, nagsulat ka dito sa cell na to, hindi nila pwedeng palitan yon. O mismong yung workbook, yung buong file mismo, hindi mo pwedeng palitan. At pwede mo rin i-share para kahit na multiple users yung nagbubukas ng file, pwede silang mag-save all at the same time. View, parang page layout din. But usually ang ginagamit dito itong mga grid lines and headings. So when you actually click this, napansin nyo yung mga square-square, ay mawawala siya para lang mas malinis tingnan. Yeah. But since we're working on the basic, iwanan natin na meron tayong grid lines para meron tayong parang assistance. Developer tab, usually wala yan dyan sa mga basic, pero dito na ngayon pumapasok yung kapag maglalagay ka ng macro, Visual Basic, yung parang mga programming ba in connection with Excel. Yeah, right there. So that's the ribbon. Ito yung usually palagi mong gagamitin. Kaya dapat familiar ka kung saang tab ka pupunta kapag meron kang specific na tool or assistance na kailangan. Ngayon, may mga shortcuts on how you're going to get to a specific task or kunyari kailangan mong i-sort yung data, kailangan mong mag-filter na tinatawag kung familiar kayo doon sa term na yon. May mga shortcut na pwede mong gawin sa keyboard, mga control shortcuts, alt shortcuts, pero we're not going to talk about that right now. Siguro maybe in the future kapag meron na tayong additional time, kapag siguro pwede na tayong magsama-sama sa isang classroom, mas madaling maituro kapag nakikita nyo din yung keyboard ko at meron din kayo siguro sariling keyboard and computer that you can practice. But for now, let's leave it like that. We're going to use this on our next lessons. Let's move to the next part. Next part is the name box. Ito po yung name box. Nasa left side. So it displays the address or the location of the active cell on that spreadsheet. Also used to create a named range. So kapag kinlik ko to, kung papapansin niyo mamaya pag-uusapan natin kung ano yung mga address ng mga cells. It's under column A, under row 1. Yeah. So it's A1, kaya nakikita ko dito sa name box na siya ay A1. So if I move to column D sa row 1, and that's going to be D1. Yeah. Makakatulong ito kapag pinangalanan mo yung range. Now, when you say a named range, it's going to be useful in the event that you're going to create a formula o meron kang gagawing parang function. So kunyari, from A1 hanggang A5, pwede ko yan siyang palitan ng pangalan para pwede ko siyang tawaging Brickstone, whatever name I'd like to call it, I can just type it in and just say Brickstone. So every time I'm going to talk about that range, it's going to say Brickstone, parang ganoon. But for the basic, hindi naman natin masyadong i-discuss yan. So, name box. Next, formula box or parang paulit-ulit yung nakasulat. Function box or formula box. So ito yung formula box. Ayan, ng mahabang ito. It allows you to enter, edit data, and of course, create formulas. You can also do it here. So if, for example, I'm going to type my name here under A1, I can do that. Ganyan. I can also do it here. Click that field and just type in Jesse. Ganyan. So whatever is inside a cell o dito sa parang box na to, makikita nyo rin dito sa formula box. Mas magme-make sense ang gamit niyan kapag nag-move na tayo sa functions. All right. An active cell. An active cell refers to the currently selected cell in a spreadsheet or sheet. Imagine that it's like a box where you can enter values or functions. So ito mismo, yung isang pirasong box na yan, yung nakikita ninyong parang may border na medyo mas darker than the usual grid, yan. That is the cell. Yung buong Excel sheet ay punong-puno ng mga box. So kung pupunta tayo dun sa kanan, makikita niyo ito ay column A. Then we can stretch up to column XFD. Yan. Ang dulo naman, from row 1, for example, pinakailalim nito currently ay column, hindi ko masyadong nakikita. Around 1,048,573. So napakalaki ng range ng Excel spreadsheet, but you don't normally use all of that. You only siguro yung isang buong nakikita mo nito, yan yung karaniwang ginagamit natin when you're doing reports. Basta tatandaan lamang at imagine niyo na para siyang box. Kung ano yung nilagay mo doon, mananatili siya doon. Hindi siya lilipat sa kasunod na box or sa kasunod pa. So kapag nagsulat ako dito kunya ng apelyido ko Hidalgo, or say yung buong address natin. Kunyari 10 Brixton Street, Barangay Capitolio, Pasig City. Now, you notice that parang ang haba ng data. So parang umabot na siya ng column D. But if you click under column D, you'll notice na walang laman si formula box. Wala. Under column C, wala. Under column B, wala. Pero under column A, nandoon siya. So katulad ng sabi ko, kung saan mo in-enter, kung saan mo ipinasok na box, doon lang siyang mananatili. Hindi siya pupunta sa ibang mga box. Kahit parang nakasobra na siya. Parang umapaw na siya doon, pero nandun lang siya sa loob niya. Unless you're going to merge it. So let's talk about merging later. Next. Columns and rows. So columns, of course, are the vertical series in a spreadsheet that uses letters. Ayan, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Pag naumating na siya ng letter Z or Z, mag-start siya ulit ng A. So ZA, ZB, ZC, etc. And syempre, ang row ay by numbers. Yan. Total of horizontal series of cells in a spreadsheet. And of course, a cell address or a range is a combination of letters and numbers. Katulad ng sabi ko kanina, ito ay isang cell at yan ay may column, which is letter A, and row, which is the number 1. Kaya address niya ay A1. Okay? So, if for example, in the future, kapag gumagamit ka na ng Excel, if you are asked to, for example, can you go to cell K1? Alam mo na yun. Punta ka ng row K, column K, and then row 1, edi yun yun, K1. Okay. I hope that you guys are enjoying and you're getting all of the information. Medyo mabilis ng konti, medyo nakakalungkot kasi wala akong directly kausap. You know what, guys? Let me know if you have time, maybe in the next weekend, yung lesson 2, I can do it live para meron akong kausap, meron akong discuss. Put it in the comment section if you're available Sunday night. Sabihin natin ganyan. Sunday night, 7 p.m. next week, then I'm going to record the whole session or the whole lesson number 2 doon mismo sa Zoom. I'm going to provide you with the Zoom link. You can join, tapos we can talk. If you have questions, then you can throw it to me. I can answer it while we're doing it live. Ganyan. Hindi kailangan lahat. If you don't have time, I will still upload this video so you can watch. But if you have time, kita-kita tayo, usap-usap tayo. Mas maganda minsan yung ganong klase para merong interaction. Okay. Worksheet or spreadsheet tab. So mapapansin niyo that we're working with tabs. So imagine niyo na isang spreadsheet ay parang papel, and then on that paper ay merong parang mga tabs. Kung naaalala niyo pa dati nung lumang panahon, yung papel meron siyang parang nakausli na parang karton, Na kunyari nilalagay nyo PE, tas isang karton, music, ganyan. Those are tabs. So, basically the same thing. Yan din yon. So, kapag kinlik mo yon, mapupunta ka dito sa part na yan. Yan, where we're talking about sheets and worksheets. Navigation. Okay, medyo ano na tayo, nag-a-advance na tayo ng dahan-dahan. So we're basically done with all of the parts that you're seeing in your Excel screen. Um, Pwede nyo balikan, i-rewind nyo ng bahagya kung gusto nyo i-review ulit. But basically, mula sa taas hanggang sa baba ay napag-usapan na natin. And we're going to do our best to use those words when we're talking about future lessons. So for navigations, kung gagalaw ka sa loob ng isang spreadsheet, may mga options ka. So the number one thing that you can use, of course, aside from your mouse, so ito, kikita nyo yung mouse kong gumagalaw, I can click. So point and click, point and click. Alam niyo na siguro yan. So kung gusto mong pumunta kunyari sa B5, then i-point mo yung mouse mo sa B5, and then click it. Then you'll be there. If you're not using your mouse, and it happens kasi minsan sobrang dami ng data, nakapila silang ganyan, nakatable sila, hindi rin maganda yung click ka ng click, then you can use your arrows. So if you move your arrow keys, you can, of course, right, down, left, up, yan. Okay. You can also click or press enter. It's basically a movement one cell down. So if I press enter, 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 enter. Bumababa lang siya. Kung tab naman, papunta sa kanan, one cell. Tab. Oops, where's my tab? Yan. Tab, tab, tab. Yan. Hindi katulad sa Word or sa PowerPoint, for example, kapag nag-insert ka ng text box, kapag nag-tab ka ay parang nag-i-indent lang siya papunta sa left or papunta sa right. Sa Excel, kapag nag-tab ka, lilipat siya ng karton, lilipat siya ng cell or box. Now, if you want to move to the end of the data, katulad nung ginawa ko kanina, you cannot do it by arrows kasi abutin ka ng maghapon. Pag ganyan ka gumalaw, tagal niyan. Imaginein mo, paisa-isa ka, tapos punta ka ng 1,040,000. Sobrang tagal. So what you can actually do is press Control sa iyong keyboard and then press whatever arrow. So if I'm going to the right, I can press Control and then the arrow right, and then I can reach the end of the data or the end of the spreadsheet. So in the same manner, Control left, babalik ako ulit sa pinakadulong left, Control down, and Control up. Yeah. So notice when I said the end of the range or the end of the sheet, dahil hindi ka palaging makakarating sa end of sheet. Kapag may nakaharang, ibig sabihin may data sa isang cell, for example here, data, for example. And if I'm coming from A1, hindi ako makakarating dun sa dulong-dulo kahit mag-control arrow ako. So the data will stop me from moving to the edge of the sheet. Right there. Again, so control ako, control arrow right, haharangin ako ng data. But if I, again, control arrow right, nandun ako ulit sa pinakadulo ng sheet. Get it? So it's either the end of the range or kung saan pipigilin ka ng data, or kung walang datang nakaharang, then end ng isang sheet. Okay? Cool? All right. Columns and rows basically highlights the whole range. So hindi lamang mouse ang pwede mong gamitin para mag-range. Pag sinabi mong range, it's a combination of cells. Kapag isang pirasong box, cell. Kapag more than one, it's a range. Ibig sabihin, pinagsama-sama or hirap pala explain on. It's a range of cells. So I cannot just say that this thing that I'm highlighting right now is E6. Kasi kung mapapansin nyo, hindi siya E6. E6 and E7 siya. So it's a range right there. Yeah. A range is written with the use of columns. So kung isusulat ko for example lang A1 hanggang A5, I'm going to write it like A1 or it's capitalized A1 colon A5. That's a range right there. Okay? So when kung sakaling kailangan mo yung buong row or buong column, you can actually click on the column and the row. So, kunyari, buong column E, itapat mo lang ang mouse mo dito sa E and you can highlight the whole thing. Kung row number 5, for example, you can go to that number 5 and then click mo and it's going to highlight the whole thing, the whole row. Okay? Pwede ring mag-multiple. You can just press down control. Kunyari, row 5 and column E. So I'll press control and I'll add it para meron akong multiple ranges. Right there. Okay. See, you guys are already learning. Medyo marami na kayo natututunan. So tapos na tayo sa navigation. And we're moving towards the basics. O ito, dito na tayo sa mga medyo exciting ng bahagya. Kasi kahit paano ay matututo na kayo ng pag-enter ng data and the mga simple functions. So if you're going to do something right now, you can pause here and take a rest again and continue the next time that you're available. Baka may maghuhugas ng pinggan or magsasaing dyan. You can pause right now kung wala ka naman masyadong gagawin and if you have time to listen to me, then you can just continue watching. Okay? All right, now we're back. Kinailangan kong putulin yung recording kasi masyado ng mahaba. If I'm going to continue, mahihirapan akong i-edit and publish the video. But thank you very much for spending time with me. Kung nandito ka pa din at nanonood ka, good job. Thank you very much. And I hope that you're learning a lot from our simple lesson for today. And okay, let's continue. All right. Punta na tayo sa my formatting and editing. So if you're going to format a cell, ibig sabihin, meron kang parang gustong baguhin, meron kang gustong i-adjust. Pwedeng yung font o yung itsura ng mga letra, pwedeng yung color, pwedeng yung taba ng font, pwede yung letter ng font, borders, ibig sabihin yung parang mga square, ganyan. Alignment, kung nasa left ba siya or nasa right ba siya. Merging, ibig sabihin yung pagsasamahin mo yung tatlong cells para maging isang cell na lang siya. That's merging. You can all do that using the ribbon. If you remember, from part 2, we talked about the ribbon. Ito yon. Yan. So usually it's everything that you need is nasa home tab ng ribbon. So ito, for example, ayan, indentation, alignment, the colors, the font colors, and I'm pretty sure that you already know this, but we have to just go through it para dun sa iba na hindi masyadong pamilyar. Kung sakali namang marami ka nang masyadong ginawa. Let's do one sample right here. Lakihan natin ng bahagya. Move ko lang ang aking yan. One moment please. And for example, I want to use font 30 para medyo malaki-laki. Yeah, kunyari. Tapos if I'm gonna write something here, I'm gonna write Jesse. Okay, so kunyari change ko ang aking font to black. I change the letter. I change the fill. Lagyan ko ng kulay. Kunyari italic. Nilagay ko ng center. Ganyan. So for example, ang dami ko nang ginawa. With the use of the ribbon, I did all of these editing and formatting. Yan, ginawa ko siya dito. And I don't wanna have to do that here. So, kunyari, I'm just writing my last name, for example. So, sinulat ko dito, yung gusto ko parang kamukha nito. So, I can either copy it and paste it here. Kaso pag pinaste ko, di ba, ang mangyayari, mapapalitan yung tinype ko. Eh, ayokong gawin yon kasi medyo tinatamad ako. You can actually use the format painter. Basically copies the format of the original cell and paints it, purong natin ito ng bahagya, and paints it over the selected cell or range. So, kunyari, ito, click itong format cell. Oh, basic, ang ginawa niya ay kinopya niya na yon, tapos ipipaint over ko lang dito sa cell kung gusto ko siyang kopyahin. So, yeah, right there. So nagbago na siya, hindi ko kinailangan i-copy. Well, I can do that. I can copy that cell, paste it here, and then manually type my last name again, which is medyo additional trabaho. So if you want to work smart, you can do that. Format Painter. You can also use Format Cell. It's a pop-up window with all the tools about formatting. So kunyari, nandito ka, and you're looking at a specific data, dito na lang tayo siguro. You can right click and then click format cells. Right there. Makikita nyo na dito may mga category. Yan. Sa tagal kong gumagamit ng Excel, maraming hindi masyado pa ding familiar dito. Kahit people who have been using Excel for a long time, hindi sila masyadong familiar na pwede kang mag-format cell gamit ang pag-right click. So nandito, pwede kang mag-change ng alignment, you can wrap the text, ibig sabihin yung kahit mahaba yung sinulat mo, di ba kanina kung naalala nyo, nilagay natin yung buong address ng Brixton, pwede mong isiksik yun. So, ang gagawin kapag nag-wrap test ay hindi siya lalagpas doon sa box. Ang mangyayari ay ikukulong niya lahat ng letra sa loob lamang ng box. Font, of course, you can, options here to change your font. Border, kung gusto mo medyo mas makapal, yung putol-putol, etc. Fill, ano man yung kulay na gusto mo. Protection, let's talk about protection and a different time. Ito muna yung gusto kong pag-usapan. So, under category, may makikita kang general, number, currency. Ito ngayon ay napaka-importante para sa akin dahil dito mo pwedeng mapalitan yung kumbaga format ng isang cell. On the next part of this lesson, i-discuss ko yan. So, hintayin nyo yan. Okay. And then, of course, conditional formatting. Conditional formatting lets you apply a specific format to a cell when it meets a specific criteria. Ito yung parang mga magic, ganyan. Medyo nakakabigat ito ng file, kaya medyo ingat kayo. Ibig sabihin, lumalaki yung file size mo kahit wala namang masyadong datang laman. Pero okay lang din, masayang gawin to. Ito yung baka ginagawa ng mga TL ninyo or ng mga manager ninyo na biglang nagbabago-bago ng kulay na paganya, no? Kapag meron kang may kakaiba kang nilagay. So let's make this as an example. Kung makikita nyo, ang formatting wala naman, kulay puti lang siya, wala siyang talagang laman. So we can click conditional formatting right there. Okay, para makita lang natin. And then new rule. So gagawa ka ng parang logic or ng rule na sasabihan mo at uutusan mo si Excel para mag-isip tapos gawin kung ano man yung action na gusto mong gawin niya. Okay, so let's say contain. If dito tayo sa bandang baba, is a cell value is less than, kunyari, QA nyo, kunyari ganyan, 80%. Yan. Ang gawin natin ay i-highlight siya ng fill yellow. Yan. Okay. So nakikita nyo, nag-change siya ng yellow kasi wala siyang laman. So that's basically 0. But if we entered 80%, hindi nagbabago yung formatting. 81, 90, ay, hindi kasali. 95, wala. Paano kaya kung 79? Kunyari, yun yung nag-appear na score mo. Di ba? Automatically, mag-change yung formatting. So, ito yung mga kinahihiligan ng mga TL ninyo pag sinisendan nila kayo ng mga parang report na parang naka-automatic na kapag medyo mababa yung QA mo or mababa yung adherence mo, attendance, or mataas yung HT mo, nagbabago yung color. That's conditional formatting. Yan. Nakakaganda ng report yan kasi parang gumagaling ka kapag marunong kang gumamit ng conditional formatting. Okay, let's move on. Data in a cell. Ito na yung sinasabi ko kanina. Here's a few things that we need to remember when working with data in Excel. Ito yung super basic and dapat ay naiintindihan mo ito bago ka makapag-move sa ibang mga medyo mas advanced ng bahagya. So remember that number one, each data is stored in a cell or range. Pag naglagay ka ng data, nag-input ka ng information, ini-store yan at pinapasok dun sa parang box. So doon sa cell or kapag multiple, then in a range. Number two, it's better if a table has a table header. So kapag organize ka ng data, pinagsasama-sama mo, ganyan. Parang pag gumagawa ka din sa papel, ganyan. For example, kunyari nagsusulat ka ng utang, lalagay mo John, tapos dito sa taas ng column nakalagay bayad, yes or no, tapos lagay mo no, tapos dito naman yes, okay, bayad na siya. So ganito, bayad na siya. So pag nag-organize ka ng data, palaging may nakasulat diba sa taas, kunyari ang column na ito ay tungkol sa mga name, then lagyan mo ng header. Matututunan niyo kung bakit importante yan sa ating mga susunod na discussion. Number three, data, and this is the most important thing, data has a format category. Yung pinakita ko kanina, general, number, percentage, or text. And bago tayo mapunta dito sa nakikita nyong mga number one, dito muna tayo kay number 4. Functions or formulas or calculations, kung ano pa man yung gusto nyong itawag sa kanila, will only follow what you tell them to do. Sa mga nakasalamuha kung gumagamit ng Excel, minsan nagagalit sila kasi mali daw si Excel. Mali OMJ kasi si Excel ayaw gumana. Remember, it doesn't really have a brain of its own. It's only going to follow whatever you tell them. So if you entered an incorrect calculation or an incorrect logic, edi yun din ang ifa-follow nila. Pag sinabi mo, kunyari, ang sinabi mo ang apple ay violet, then susundin nila yun. Kung ano yung sinabi mo na ang apple ay violet, ganyan. Yun ang kanyang iisipin. Huwag kang magagalit kapag binigay niya sa'yo, kunyari, um, eggplant. Tapos sinabi niya, itong eggplant na to ay apple. Ikaw yung nagsabi nun eh. Ang sabi mo, ang mga bagay kunyari na violet ay apple. So basically, correct yung ginagawa niya, mali yung in-input mo. So you have to correct whatever you entered in the system para tama yung lalabas na information. Okay, so balik tayo dito kay number 3. So makikita nyo dito, may iba't ibang entry, but it's basically one of the same thing. So this one is a text. A text format. Sulat, mga letra, text. Pwedeng paragraph, pwedeng text, or pwedeng phrase. That's a text. This one is a number or a whole number. Number format. Mapapansin ninyo na kapag naka-number format na wala kang ginagawang additional formatting, ibig sabihin hindi mo pinalipat sa gitna, na katulad ng ganyan, or pinalipat sa kaliwa. Usually, automatically, when you enter a number in a cell, it moves to the right side. Lumilipat siya sa kanan. Katulad nito. This one is a percentage. Ito yung mga karaniwang ginagamit sa opisina or sa trabaho. Of course, kailangan may percent sign. Pag may additional na nilagay ka dyan, pag may numero kang in-enter at nilagyan mo ng percent, automatically, i-flag yan ng Excel as a percentage. Ibig sabihin, divided siya sa 100. So you cannot say 1% ay, kunyari, equal sa 1 because it's not. It's not the same. It's false. Right? Okay. Now, this one, dito tayo ngayon. Ito karaniwan din to sa mga errors ng mga nakakasalamuha kung gumagamit ng Excel. Sabihin nila parang, hindi makita yung pinapahanap ko. It should be a number, pero pag nakita mo ng walang additional formatting, why is it aligned on the left side instead of the right side? Right there. So if you, kunyari, right-click, kung naalala nyo pa from the previous discussion, click Format or Format Cells, you will notice na naka-text format siya. See? Hindi siya kaagad-agad. Kung ano yung nakikita nyo sa Excel, again, merong format category and maaaring kung ano yung nakikita mo ay hindi yun kaagad talaga. Kailangan mas maging mapanuri. So you can, if you want this to be a number, then you have to change it and make it a number. And say, number. Yeah. Now it's a number. It's not it's a whole number with decimals. Does it make sense? Yeah? Kerry? Now, if you want to enter something in a cell that would look like a number, pero you don't want it to be a number. Weird, di ba? Kunyari, nagpapaliwanag ka sa TL mo or sa manager mo or kung kanino man na sinasabi mo na parang, alam niyo po ba na ang 100 divided by 4, kunyari ay equal to something. And usually, well, pangit yung example ko. Yan, mag-change siya. So, for example, you want to enter an equal sign nang hindi nagka-calculate, you can put in a, anong tawag dito? A kudlit. Anong tawag dyan sa English? Yan. Ito, lagyan mo yan. Anything with that before the data is considered text. Yan ang iintindi ni Excel. So pag ginanyan mo siya, hindi siya magka-calculate. Iisipin ni Excel na ang ini-enter mong information ay text or mga letra or parang nagkukwento ka. Alright. Let's move to functions. Ayan na. Meron tayong tatlong part ng functions. Nakikita nyo naman dito sa tabs. Function 1, function 2, function 3 before we end the discussion today. Alright. Functions 1. Basic things muna tayo. Using sort. So ito yung mga usual or common tools or things that you would need to know if you're using Excel. Napaka-importante na naiintindihan at alam mo kung paano itong gawin para kapag may pinagawa sa iyo yung TL mo or yung manager mo using Excel, kaya mo. Ito yung parang kapag nagtanong ka na, paano yung mag-sort? Parang mapapatingin sa'yo sila. Tapos sabihin nila, ay, hindi siya marunong mag-Excel. Ako. Kaya kailangan, alamin mo to. Okay? Pwede mo i-review-reviewin. Rewind mo. Ganyan pag may time ka, pag may Excel ka na. Alright. So, if you're going to need to sort, kunyari ito, meron tayong data dito, nakikita nyo naman. Ito, very evident. Ito ay mga numbers, pagkakasunod-sunod, basically. Number, for example na lang, ito ay employee number. So, kunyari, si Jose Abad ay employee number 100. So, first name, last name, katulad ng sabi ko kanina, ay may header. Ang mga column, syempre QA nila, kunyari, and HT nila. Kunyari, sabi ng TL mo or ng manager mo, gusto ko po ay nakasort ito by last name. Pwede mong manumanuhin, ilipat-lipat mo ng pwesto na parang papel siya or yung kung ano yung ginagawa natin before. Remember, nakalimutan ko sabihin ka sa kanina. If you want to learn how to use Excel and you want to be a somewhat of a master with using Excel as a tool, you have to be patient and you have to use it. Dalawa. So, bakit inuna ko yung have to be patient? Minsan napangungunahan tayo ng hindi ka magiging pasensyoso. Iniisip mo, paano nga ba ang mag-sort? Tas hindi ko ma-figure out kung paano ang mag-sort. So, ang tendency natin ay gawin kung ano yung nakasanayan. Kasi si manager or si TL, kailangan na daw niya kaagad. Eh di, sige, manumanuhin ko na lang. Marunong naman ako mag-copy-paste eh. So, unahin ko to si Jose Abad. Okay, lagay ko siya dito. Jose Abad. Anong sunod? A, B, C, D. D, David. Okay, copy ko yan. Lipat ko dito. Because you are not patient enough to try and really figure it out on your own. Or pwede mo itanong, pinagtanong mo, baka kunyari hindi niya din alam, then doon ka na mapupunta. So, you have to use it, you have to practice it. Marami akong tinuruan ng Excel before na eventually nalimutan din naman nila kasi hindi nila ina-apply, hindi nila pina-practice. Ang ginagawa nila ay parang ganito. Ginagawa nilang parang Word document or ginagawang parang papel yung Excel. Hindi nila ginagamit yung power na meron sa Excel. So, kapag nandun kayo sa ganung klaseng situation, choose to be patient. Okay? And use Excel. So if we're going to sort it by last name, we have to go to data. That's the tab right there. Yan. Highlight muna natin syempre yung range. Bakit kailangan po lahat? Bakit hindi kailangan last name lang? Ganyan. When you're doing when you're executing an action in Excel, kung ano yung, katulad ng sabi ko kanina, kung ano yung ituturo mo kay Excel, yun yung gagawin niya. Kung ano yung hina-highlight mo, yun lang yung binabago niya. Basically, ganun yung idea. So, kung i-highlight mo lang yung last name, aba, oo, isusort niya yan. Pero iiwanan niya si Jose sa row number 2 at si Maria sa row number 3. So si Maria, ang magiging apelido niya ay David. Magkakapalit-palit sila ng information. So kung gusto mong i-sort yung buong table mo, huwag mong kakalimutang i-highlight yung buong range ng data mo. Okay? Alright, so balik tayo dito. Highlight the whole range, go to data, okay? And then click sort, right there. And then you can choose ano man yung gusto mong isort. So let's sort by, nakikita nyo, kung ano yung nag-appear na header ko kanina, kaya importanteng merong header ang inyong mga tables and reports. So either number, first name, last name, QAHD. So piliin natin ang last name. Ang default nito ay A to Z. Ibig sabihin, maliit, palaki, nauna hanggang pahuli. So yan ang format natin. Mauuna si Abad, followed by David, etc. So when I click OK, focus here on this left side of your screen at magbabago siya. I'll click OK and go. Right there. So automatically, i-change niya. Notice that on the number side, nagkapalit-palit na. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 5, 3, 4, 2, 6 na siya. Okay? Diba? Ang saya, mas mabilis. So again, if you're in that situation, be patient, figure it out. Take your time. Pigilan mo yung sarili mo na gawing mano-mano yung trabaho at sabihin mo, kailangan ko ito matutunan para magamit ko sa mga susunod kong trabaho. All right, so let's do basic math. That's our number 2. When you do basic math, you can add, subtract, divide, multiply, and do average. Pareho lang din to ng ginagawa at nakikita ninyo sa blackboard nung nagtuturo yung teacher ninyo. So yung mga plus sign, minus sign for subtraction, divide ay yung paganoon, yung parang slash, multiply. Dito nga lang hindi X yung gagamitin ninyo kung hindi yung asterisk. So the asterisk will be for multiply. Average is a word that you have to enter. So Let's try it one by one. Add, for example, add natin tong HD. You can either just, kung ganito lang kakonti yung data ninyo, pwede nyo highlight yung ganyan, and then just look at the bottom right side. Yan, makikita nyo, sum. Yun na yun. But if you want to practice, katulad nga sabi ko kanina, ayaw mo magmano-mano, you can do equal sign. Magtuturo na ba ako ng function dito? O yeah, tuloy na natin to. Yan, kunyari, sum. Pag madami sum. Ganyan. Pero kung paisa-isa lang, yun pala yung focus natin ngayon. Equal sign, for example, 350 plus 297. Yan. Notice that the cells have their reference. Ito. So F6 plus F7. Hindi mo nakitang nilagay dito ni Excel ang 350 and 297. Kasi basically, hindi naman niya kaagad-agad malalaman kung ano yung laman ng cell. Pero ang alam niya ay pag sasamahin niya or i-add niya yung laman ng F6 at laman ng F7. Kaya ganyan yung format na nakikita niyo sa inyong screen. Right there. Okay? Kung subtract naman, then we can go equal sign. Remember that all functions will require an equal sign in front. Basta naglagay ko ng equal sign, nag-create ka ng function or ng formula. So you can click 350. Ito, si F6 minus, si minus ko yung minus F7. And that's it. Divide, pwede din. 350 slash 297, that's division. Right there. Kung multiply, ganun din, equal sign. 350 asterisk, which is multiply. And 297, that's it. Tsaka na yung average. Meron tayong discussion dyan sa susunod na function. Okay. Now, what if you would need to do an auto filter? So pag sinabihan ka kunyari ni TL or ni manager ng lagyan mo ng filter, ibig sabihin nagkakaroon siya ng parang drop down, nakakita na siguro kayo ng ganyang file. May drop down dun sa taas kung saan pwede mong pindutin at pipili ka. So when you say drop down, you can, click an arrow and then it will give you options kung ano yung pipiliin mo. So maaaring, for example, lahat ng mga pasadong QA or lahat ng 75%, kung ganun ang gusto mong gawin, you have to go to data and press auto filter. So highlight muna natin ulit. Highlight yung header. This time, you don't really have to highlight the whole thing. You can just highlight the header or table header. And then go to data and then click filter or auto filter. Yan. Ulitin natin. Tingnan nyo yung itong data dito. Bigla siyang magkakaroon ng parang drop down. Right there. So, kung meron na siyang auto filter or filter, you can click the drop down arrow. Tapos, pumili ka ng kung ano yung gusto mo lang na piliin. Pwede ka rin maglagay ng mag-sort, ganyan. Yan. That's the auto filter. Okay. Sa mga medyo advanced na nanonood ngayon, may I remind you guys and also let you know na meron naman talagang shortcuts. May mga letters, control, again, and alt functions that you can do para automatic ito. But we're all doing it manually para nakikita sa screen at para dun sa mga wala pa masyadong kaalaman sa Excel. Okay. Hide, dito muna tayo sa freeze panes. Freeze panes, ibig sabihin ay gusto mong manatili ang isang row o column doon sa pwesto niya at hindi siya aandar, hindi siya lilipat ng pwesto. You can do that. Now, for example, pag tiningnan mo to, itong mga ito, kapag ako ay nag-scroll going down, mawawala siya sa screen ko. Yan. Lalo na't kung ikaw ay merong multiple data, imagine niyo kung meron akong mga employees na say 400, edi umabot na yun hanggang baba. Pag nag-scroll ako, hindi ko na makikita yung header ko. Dahil hindi ko na makikita yung header, habang bumababa. Gusto ko nandun lang siya, hindi siya aalis. That's what you call freeze pane. So when you're freezing a pane, ang iha-highlight mo ay yung unang row, for example kung ito, unang row ng cells na gusto mong gumalaw. Hindi mo uumpisahan doon sa hindi dapat gumalaw. So kung gusto kong manatili si row 1 sa pwesto niya, then si row 2 ang i-highlight ko. Then I'm going to go to view and then freeze panes. Click it, freeze panes, and that's it. Mapapansin nyo na merong parang bahagyang kumapal yung guhit. Ayan o. See? Parang ito ay medyo light gray, pero ito ay parang nagkaroon ng parang darker gray. Ibig sabihin, naka-activate na yon. So when I scroll down, notice that the first row is not moving. So naiwan siya doon. Yan. If you want to unfreeze the pane, then, or yung row, edi pareho lang din na process. Highlight the row and freeze. Yan. Magalaw na siya ulit. Okay? All right. Hide, unhide, or group. Again, para to sa mga sobrang dami ng data. Pwede rin namang delete, pero minsan kasi ayaw mong, kunyari, hindi masyadong importante sila Francisco, itong mga to, then I can highlight all their rows and then right click and then hide. So when I hide, yun, hindi mo na siya automatic makikita. Pero mapapansin mo na yung rows ay nawawala din. So 1, 2, 7 na kaagad dito. So nawawala si rows 3 to 6. Kasi pwede mo pa ding i-unhide. So you just highlight it, right click, unhide. And makikita mo na siya ulit. Sa groups naman, ito yung parang medyo mas automatic ng bahagya. Ayaw mo ng mga right click. Gusto mo, nakikita mo kaagad. Kunyari lang, sa columns naman tayo. Gusto mo nakikita mo yung name, pero hindi importante sa iyo si last name at saka si QA. Gusto mo kunyari na ma-match mo kaagad yung first name sa HD. Pero that doesn't mean hindi talaga, ayaw mo naman siya i-delete. So you can highlight it and then group it. So when you're grouping it, paano nga ba ang manual ng grouping? Right there. You go to data and then click group. So when you click group, magkakaroon siya ng parang extra button sa taas. Right there. Kita nyo? Yan. So ito ay naka-expand na version. Pag kinlik ko tong parang button na to, magsasama-sama sila. See? Nawala. So rekta na doon. I don't have to right click and unhide. All you have to do is click that. Or I can also click the number here. 1 and 2. Same thing. Pag gusto kong i-ungroup, same thing. Just highlight it and then click ungroup. That's it. Number 6 naman tayo. Sa adjusting rows and columns width, you can use your mouse. This is fairly simple. Hanapin lang ninyo, mapapansin nyo nagbabago-bago ng hugis yan. Kapag nakatutok ka kunyari sa mismong column, naka-arrow siya. Pero as you move kunyari towards the right, nagbabago siya at magiging para siyang cursor. Right there. See it? Ulit. Cursor. Yan. Pag naging cursor na siya, you can hold on your left click and then move it. Then you're basically moving the column width. Ganun din sa row. Hanapin niyo mag-change ng cursor and then move it. Now you have changed the row height. Now, kung gusto mo yung automatic na parang yung sapat lamang yung lapad niya or yung kapal niya, then double click lang. Hanapin mo lang ulit. So from arrow and then wait until it becomes a cursor and then double click. Automatic yun. Same din dito. So arrow, pag naging parang cursor na siya, double click. right there. Okay, number 7 for our discussion, ito yung last para dito, clearing contents and adding comments. It's important that you, for Excel, you understand to clear comments or clear contents kasi hindi palaging nagde-delete. Tandaan ninyo na ang Excel ay nagko-consist ng multiple cells. So basically, katulad nga nasabi ko kanina, imagine it like boxes. So if you delete a box, you're actually removing that box. You're taking it, removing it there, dumping it somewhere. So basically, ang mangyayari, mag-uurungan yung data. Kunyari, ito ay very karaniwang pagkakamali ng mga beginners Excel. Gusto kong tanggalin kasi nagkamali ako sa entry ng Bonifacio. Hindi pala siya Bonifacio. Aguinaldo pala kunyari yung apelido niya. So, karaniwan kasi ang ginagawa, di ba, kapag sa mga word na iba, pwede mong i-delete. So, for example, if I right-click and choose delete, right there, sa Excel, hindi siya basta-bastang i-delete. Tatanungin ka niya, paano? Pataas, pakaliwa, buong column, buong row. So, let's just say na hindi ko na masyado naiintindihan. Sabi ko, hindi, siguro naman, pa-up lang siguro. All right. So, when I click OK, see, it moved. You actually took the whole box, removed it there, and moved the rest of the box upwards. So, si Francisco, imbis na nakapag-enter ka ng data dito, umakyat sila. Si Mayumi, nawala na siya ng apelido. So, very basic problem. Wag mag-delete. So, personally, I don't use the term delete when I'm handling Excel. You only can clear the content. Ibig sabihin, iwanan mo yung box doon sa kanyang kinalalagyan, tanggalin mo lang yung laman. Pero wag mong tanggalin yung box. Okay? I'll just undo. So instead, you can either right-click, clear contents, or press delete from your keyboard. Medyo weird lang yan. Siyempre keyboard, di naman natin pwedeng palitan yung letra na nasulat. So, again, right-click, clear content. See? Walang gumalaw. So, natanggal mo lang kung ano man yung laman niya. Pwede rin actually backspace. Ganyan. Backspace. It would actually work. Then you can change it to whatever entry that you would like to use. For comments, all you have to do is right-click and click Insert Comment. Usually, ginagamit ito kapag meron ka pang additional info na gusto mong i-add pero ayaw mo nang i-clutter, ayaw mo nang kalatan to ng kung ano-ano pang mga comments dito, ganyan. Gusto mo ganyan lang, malinis tingnan, pero gusto mo pagka kinlik niya si Aguinaldo or tinutok niya yung mouse niya doon, makikita niya na kaagad yung additional info tungkol doon. So that's when you add comments. All right. I know that these are basic things. Baka yung mga ibang medyo hustler na ng bahagya dyan sa Excel ay medyo nabuboard. But stay with me here, guys. And sometimes it's also important to review the basic stuff para maalala lang natin, nga pala, may ganyan pala, no? I think that would work for my report or something like that. Okay, let's continue. Let's go to function number 2. All right, parts of an Excel formula. Pag-usapan na natin ito. Tungkol formula na tayo. Ito na yung medyo exciting na part. Remember, sa equal sign, all functions and formulas start with an equal sign. A function is different from a formula. A function is a predefined formula that performs calculations. Ito yung kaninang pinakita ko sa inyo. So when you say, I want to add all of the AHT, kunyari lang so you can do equal sign para mag-create ka ng formula or ng function. And then you can say sum. So when you do that, this part right here, the sum, is what you call a function. So predefined siya. Hindi siya gagawa ng ibang bagay. Hindi siya magdi-divide, hindi siya mag-average, hindi siya gagawa ng iba pang bagay aside from sum. Predefined formula. Now, this is a function. Now, if I start to add information, references, for example, this range, now it becomes a formula. Oh, kung inisip mo yon, tama ka. Very good. Check ka dyan. Bigyan kita ng score. So that becomes a formula aside from the regular function. You will also notice that in a formula, you will see parentheses. Importante yan. Yung parentheses ay nag-group. Minsan may mga multiple formulas kang ginagawa or ginagamit na ng mga ngailangan ng multiple parentheses. Yan. Reference is cell range. So ang cell range natin for this example is F2 to F7. Katulad nung sinabi ko kanina, if you can remember, if it's arranged, may letter D. Yan ay pinagsamang dalawang cell. Tapos may colon sa gitna. Right there. On categories, pag-uusapan natin sa susunod na tab. May mga iba't ibang mga categories katulad ng pinag-usapan natin kanina. Meron yung parang logical categories, mathematical categories, or text categories. You will also see it here. Now, if you go sa formula tab, right there, see? Auto sum, financial category, logical, text, lookup, mathematical categories. Ito ay mga predefined functions. So, kunyari, financial, kilik ko yan. Ching! Dami yan. Pero hindi naman yan lahat magagamit nyo talaga. Logical, ching! O yan, dami. Text, okay. Functions, yan. Dami yan. Sum, yan. You can use that. When you click here, you can just click the specific function. Then it will automatically highlight it here. But that's not our discussion. Sa discussion natin ay susubukan nating mag-create ng manual na entry instead of just using the function tool. Okay. No questions so far? Again, if you have questions, please put it in the comment section. Once ma-launch itong video na to, bibisitahin ko yung comment section. Either sasagutin ko yung mga questions nyo doon or sa lesson number 2, bibigyan natin ng time para sagutin yung mga questions ninyo. Lahat ng possible question na tungkol sa Excel and MS Office, you can put it there para we can talk about it on our next discussion. All right. Dito na tayo sa ating mga basic formulas. So, remember that there are two ways on how you can enter a function or a formula. You can either manually enter it, kung sa ulo mo naman yung formula, or you can click that insert function. So, let's try. Tapos na tayo kanina sa sum eh. Dito tayo kay average ngayon. Average. So, let's try average by using the insert function. I go here. Well, hindi naman kailangan talaga nasa ilalim. Pwede naman kung gusto mo dito mo ilagay yung data, pero ito pa rin yung in-average mo. Okay lang din yun. Or dyan, or dito. Okay lang. Gusto ko lang dito siya banda. Okay. So let's say we're going to average the HD range or column. Then we can click insert function. There's going to be a pop-up window. We can search by category, or you can just type it here and then click go. So I'll say average. Click go. So it will search right there. So ito yung pipiliin ko. I'll click OK. Right there. So kapag may pop-up, this is the best way for you to learn functions and formulas. Nung nag-umpisa ako, ito rin ang ginagamit ko. So pili ka ng function na feeling mo gagana at makakatulong dun sa report na ginagawa mo. And then subukan mong intindihin. May definition yan. Kapag binuksan mo to, function, you will see the arguments. Yan. Sasabihin niya sa iyo kung para saan yung function na yon. For example, ano yung kailangan mo i-enter dito, etc. Right there. So we don't have to do another number. It's just a range from F2. So F2 hanggang F8. That's a range. I'll click OK, and I'm done. Okay? All right. Again, these are the basic formulas that you can use in your daily work in the office. Hindi ito lamang napakaraming functions and formulas that you can do in Excel, pero ito yung mga bagay na sana ay alam mo para makatulong sa pang-araw-araw mong trabaho. So let's do number 2, count. So when you do count, it's let's try this. Let's click insert function. Insert function, search count, go. Ito na siya. Kita nyo to, count. Okay, I'll click OK. Now, there's a definition. It says, counts the number of cells in a range that contain numbers. Ibig sabihin, kapag ang cell mo ay naka-number category, bibilangin niya yon at sasabihin niya kung ilang mga boxes or mga cells ang naka-number category. So, ganun lang. Bibigyan natin yung range, which is still, again, F2 to F8. Click OK. And it's gonna say 6. Kasi nga, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 na cell. Kung sakaling baguhin natin yung isa, kunyari ito, gawin natin hindi number, kung hindi text. Okay, Jesse. Then, it's going to change. And it's only going to say there's only 5 cells in this range that contain numbers. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. Kunyari, baguhin natin itong isa. Gawin natin Annie. Yan. See? Magbabago na naman siya ulit kasi nga nabawasan. Paano naman kaya ang count A? Ang count A, on the other hand, actually counts the texts instead of the numbers, instead of blanks. So let's try it. Click insert function, search for count, hanapin natin si count A. Okay, ito siya pangalawa. And it says, counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So I'll click OK. I'll be given the range, click OK. And right there. It's not empty because these are not really like empty, but these are not texts. Ito po ay text value. So dalawa ang merong ganyan. So dagdagan natin isa, kunyari Alex. Dalawa lang pala to. F2 to F8. Yan. Butasin natin ngayon itong mga to. Yan. See? Count A. Para saan ginagamit ang count A? Ang count A usually gagamitin mo kapag hindi kompleto. Parang ganito. Pag hindi kompleto yung data, for example, nagbibilang ka ng done sa hindi done. Kunyari ito ay utang. Kunyari ganyan. Tapos, bayad na. Bayad na. So, kunyari, hindi mo minamark yung mga hindi pa bayad, then you can count. So, yan. Pwede mo mabilang ilan ang nagbayad na automatically out of doon sa total headcount mo. Okay, count A. Trim. Ang trim, hanapin natin ulit. Click insert function. Click trim. Search. Click it. All right. Definition, removes all spaces from text strings except for a single space between words. Cancel muna natin yan. So basically, for example, may mga nagka-copy. Pag nagka-copy ka ng data from Word or PowerPoint or from email, most of the time ay merong extra spaces yan. Parang kunyari, Jesse space. Kita nyo, hindi nakadikit yung cursor sa letter E. That means there's a space right there na hindi kailangan. Pero kapag nakaganyan, hindi mo naman mapapansin na merong extra space right there. So if I'm gonna enter, and this is like a logic in reference, I'm going to enter my name here without the space. See, walang space ha? No space. Okay. By just looking at it, you will say that this cell should be equal to this cell. Dapat pareho sila. But in reality, they're not because alam niyo naman kanina na naglagay ako ng space dito. So if I'm gonna say equal sign, this is equal to this one, it's gonna say false. So nangyayari yan minsan sa data na hindi nagmamatch yung mga information. Dito mo pwedeng magamit ngayon si trim. So if you equal sign trim, open parentheses, and click the data, ganyan, it will automatically remove the unnecessary space. Now, I can say this one is equal to this one. That's true. Kasi binura na niya yung space na nandoon kanina sa harapan. Ngayon sasabihin nyo, pwede nyo naman i-click tapos i-delete na lang. Double click mo ganyan, tapos ganyan mo, okay lang naman yun. Easy for very limited information. Kung konti lang, sige, kahit ako din, ganyan lang. Double click kang ganyan, check mo isa-isa. Okay, mga wala namang extra space, ganyan. But imagine if you have thousands of data, yung information na nakalatag sa'yo ay sobrang dami. Hindi mo na yun makiklik isa-isa, baka buong shift mo yun lang ang natapos mo. So, mas maganda na meron kang ganitong kaalaman para magagamit mo next time. Dito muna tayo sa sum if bago natin balikan si number 4 na if. So sum if. Si sum if ay basically i-add niya yung mga bagay ng merong rule o merong parang reference or logic. So if I'm going to click insert function, type sum, search for it, click ko si sum if right there. Definition is adds the cell specified by a given condition or criteria. So bibigyan tayo ng criteria. Kunyari, ang range natin ay ito. Last name tsaka QA. Yan, that's our range. Okay. Ang criteria na ibibigay natin ay kung siya ay si Abad. Sabihin natin, Abad. Abad. Notice that I included anong tawag dito? Quotations. Pag nilagay mo siya ng in quotation, you're telling Excel that it's a text. So kapag text, hindi niya parang in a number or kung hindi, magkakaroon ng error ang iyong formula. And then the sum range. The sum range, di ba naalala nyo kanina nag-range na tayo. Sinabi na natin kay Excel na dito ka hahanap sa data na ito, yan. Pero ang i-add mo ay ito lamang. Yan. Click OK. Right there. Percent nga natin. Pakita natin ganyan. So, kung sakaling si Maria ay abad din, ika-count niya yon. So, abad, for example, magiging 80 plus 75. Kung ito rin ay abad, ganun din, abad din to, then i-add rin niya yan. So, ang ginagawa niya, hinahanap niya lahat ng may apelidong abad, tapos kung ano yung nakatapat ng pang-apelido na yon, ay i-add niya in total at ibibigay niya yon sa'yo. That's sum if. Okay? Cool? Last one for today. This is one of my favorite functions. It's very flexible. Ito lang kaya nilagyan ko ng word na basic kasi nga ito yung pinaka-karaniwang pwede mong magamit sa kanya. Then the rest ay medyo mag-a-advance ka na ng bahagya kapag naiintindihan mo. Marami kang pwedeng ipasok sa kanya. Ngayon, if. Gamitin natin ulit ang insert function. Search for if. Click go. Piliin natin ito. Click OK. Logical test checks whether a condition is met and returns the value if it's true or if it's wrong. Basically, parang ganoon. So, bibigyan mo siya ng logical test. Tapos, bibigyan mo siya ng value na gusto mo makuha kapag tama yung test and kung mali yung test. Parang ganoon. Kunyari, ang logical test mo ay, si Shani ba ay girl? Kung girl siya, sabihin mo sa akin yes. Kung hindi, sabihin mong no. Parang ganun yung format ng if function. So here, I'm going to say, if this information is equal to tala, oops, sorry, dapat pala may parentheses. Right there. Then, ang ibigay mo sa akin ay yes. Siya nga. Siya nga. If no, then just tell me hindi. That's the idea. And click OK. So sabihin niya na siya nga si Tala. But if I change it, make it talas, kunyari, then sasabihin niya sa akin hindi. So hindi lang to usable for text. Pwede rin tong maging percentage or number. For example, if I'm gonna say equal sign if itong data na nasa box na ito or nasa cell na ito ay greater than 80%, see, then tell me that the person passed. If not, then tell me that the person failed. Hit enter, and it's gonna tell you that it passed. Kung ito naman kung sakali ay 78, then the person failed. Okay. Now, on lesson number 2, that's when we're going to discuss a lot more about the daily type of functions you can use. We're going to talk more about data and table and how you're going to sort them. And siguro maglagay kayo sa comment section kung may mga team leads na nanonood ngayon, yung mga usual problems niyo when you're handling your data at work, or kung sa mga agents or baka may mga POCs, ganyan, put it in the comment section. I'm going to read it and we're going to answer it on the next lesson. So with that, yun lang muna siguro for today. I'm going to meet with you again next week. Again, last one, I'm just going to show you the questions that I had for you earlier for today. Use the comment sections for your feedback and questions. Number 1, what is your favorite MS Office tool? Put it in the comment section, please. Do you want to join me in a live workshop setting for lesson number 2 next Sunday? So medyo advanced kayo kasi sa Sunday, lesson 1 pa lang yung ipapublish natin. Pero if you're going to join me in a live workshop session next Sunday, then lesson 2 na din yun kaagad-agad. Kung mapapanood nyo ito kaagad ng Friday. Tingnan natin. And then number 3, is there a specific thing in Excel that you'd like to learn more about? Para sa mga gumagamit ng Excel, para sa mga hindi pa masyadong gumagamit ng Excel, ano pa yung gusto ninyong matutunan? Maaaring ako ay hindi pakawala yon sa aking lesson plan. Then I would have to change my lesson plan and focus on the things that you would like to learn. Okay? So, 3 items. You can pause it here, think about it, and then put it in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching today's lesson. I'll see you in lesson number 2. Practice and be patient. Okay? Thank you.